It is now the second half of the Gatorade Cup Series Season 13 chase as we head for chase race number 6 to the Rockingham Speedway, North Carolina for the Oreo 400. Non-chasers on the front row for this race is 17 Roman Fenway on pole. To his outside pole, the 22 of Riley Spurley-Tube. In third place, Jake Galloway wants to get back in the championship fight. Needs a great result here at Rockingham with this good starting spot. Zachary DeLello starts in 4th and rank out the top 5, the 47 of Logan Williams. In 6th place is the 41 of Justin Zaydell. 7th we have TJ Hanley. In 8th place, the 4 of John Smith. In 9th we have Eli Bright. And ranking out the top 10, Riley Sampson has not had a great chase through these first 5 races. Back by them just outside the top 10, Scott Gregory and Brandon Beal, the 62 to his outside. Then teammates Jeff Bright and Keegan Thompson in the 48. Then there's Anthony Charbois still to shot at the championship. Colin Teague who's inside the 51. Then we have Nathan Baird, the 77, and the 36 of Mitchell Collins, along with Levi Shones in the 12 and the 34, Diego Yepez. Then we have Ross McTrain in the 10, in 3rd in points, Caden Lynn, but enters 12 behind the points leader. Then there's Conrad Evans in the 8 and the 95 of Cody Anderson. Then the 3 of Ron Sminnick in 2nd in points, Luke Rainey, 5 behind Jay Rando in his points lead. Then we have Evan Hunter in the 6 and the 24 of Brett Sierra, along with Nonigan Scott in the 66 and the 20 of Riley Cresswell. Then there's Sebastian Kukulon and Jay Jefferson in the 19. There's points there, Jay Rando starting outside the top 30 and on the outside to his inside chaser, Code Luigi. Then we have Marsha Burrow and another chaser, Baby Ruiz in the 00. Max Johnson, 81, John DeBeeford got himself back in the championship fight with a good result last race. Then there's Anthony Hernandez, another chaser, Max Anderson. And in the final row, 41st, Matt Oskin, 42nd, Derek Hamill in the 32. So a lot of big chasers start at the back of the field while others are trying to get themselves back into the fight start up front. We'll see how it goes here in the Oreo 400. Let's go to trackside to fire these cars up.
Drivers, start your engines.
Entering the second half of this Gatorade Cup Series chase, it's currently a 2-man race for the championship. Jay Brando and Luke Rainey, the only ones within 10 points of each other. However, Caden Lynn not that far back, and also don't count out the time between Max Anderson, Code Luigi, and Jake Galloway. Also, Anson and Trobot to try and get themselves back up into the contention. 60 laps at Rockingham, Fenway, Spurley-Tube are the front row. Galloway, the high chaser, in 3rd. Green flag at Rockingham Racing in chase race number 6. Anson and Charbois got forced into the wall through 1 and 2. He'll drop back in the outside. Fenway from pole clears the lead. Galloway clears in 2nd. Roman Fenway leads the first lap of the Oreo 400 at Rockingham. Logan Williams to 3rd, under fire from TJ Henley to turn 1. Henley with the peek to the inside of Williams for the lead. Galloway's low on Fenway down the backstretch, trying to stay beneath the 17. This could be a huge day for Jake Galloway. Only chaser starting up towards the front and on the inside lane. If Jake can win this race, that's a lot of points to go his way and get himself back into the fight. He enters a good distance back, 15 behind Jay Randall's points lead. He's still beside Fenway through 1 and 2. I think this time we'll complete it here. Logan Williams coming into the fight as well. 3 cars under blanket for the lead. Fenway doing a great job on the outside, maintaining with that 11 on the inside. And the more Galloway couldn't complete the pass, the more he had to use his tires up, and the longer it took him. Now Logan Williams right on his bumper as Galloway leads his first laps of the day here at Rockingham. Logan Williams now to 2nd by Roman Fenway. Here comes that 52 of Zachary DeLello moving for 3rd. Eli Bright, the 88's done so well here in the past, looking for a win. He's up to 4th now with Scott Gregory right on his bumper in the 1 car. How about Keegan Thompson? Eli Bright's trying to come up. I think Jeff Bright just a few cars behind him. For 2nd place, DeLello is low on Logan Williams, gets it at the start-finish line, and will clear through 1 and 2. So DeLello now to 2nd, chasing down the 11 of Jake Galloway. Eli Bright moves to 3rd, trying to get by Logan Williams with the 47, a nice run off the top, maintains with the 88, and actually pulls it a little bit down the back to turn 3. Eli will clear for 3rd. Now Scott Greger trying to clear for 4th. Fenway trying to get in line right there in 6th, but Keegan Thompson has other plans. Hendrick Motorsports trying to do something good here today. They've not had a great season at all. Their highest driver is currently 29th in points. It's the man who's running in 3rd right now. So We'll see if they can try and turn their season around, maybe get another victory here in this long Gatorade Cup Series season. Thompson up to 6th, Hanley up to 7th. The battle for 2nd. Eli Bright not saving any tires, moving for 2nd on Zachary DeLello. And that is something to think about here at Rockingham. With it being 60 laps, we're used to seeing this race have long green flag runs. Very few cautions in the Gatorade Cup Series races here, if any. The question is, if you're a driver out here, do you push hard, try and get spots early in the run when the tires are fresh and it's easiest to pass? Or do you try and save your tires and move forward at the end of the run and have tires later? They'll have to pit at some point in this race, so it will be split into 2 runs. The question is, do you go hard now and try and get spots on the fresher tires, or do you try and get spots when everyone's tires are worse than yours and you can try and gain spots that way? It'll be very interesting dynamic to see once we get to around lap 15, lap 20, when the tires will start to kick in and be seconds off the pace. Well, Eli just gotten around DeLello to try and chase down the 11 of Galway, but it never pulled away from that 3rd, 4th, and 5th place drivers. And now DeLello's back low, and Eli Bright bringing Scott Gregory and Logan Williams with him. How about TJ Hanley up to 6th, Thompson back to 7th, Jeff Bright currently in 8th, Caden Lynn, a good run for him in 9th, enters 12 below Jay Brando. Lynn right now in 9th. That's a good day. Colin Teague battling for 10th with outside pulls to Riley's Bridge, who looks to gain some spots back after falling back from the 2nd starting position. Just behind that battle, Conrad Evans in 12th, trying to fend off Chase Belling and Scott. John Smith the 4, 41 Zidell. There's Jay Brando. He found one on the inside, now up inside the top 20. It's a really good recovery for a driver that started outside the top 30 and on the outside. Brando now inside the top 20 and on the inside. And where is 2nd in points, Luke Rainier? While all this has been happening, Luke is back at 41st. And this has always been one of his worst racetracks. And Gregory can just never really get it down. For some reason, here or there, he just can't do it. And right now, back with the lowest chasers. And this is a day where he needs to try and get whatever points he can to keep touch with Jay Brando. Because at the moment, it's not good for him. Eli Bright back to 5th in the 88, the front 4 breakaway, but Galway's really broken away. The 11 car has maybe a 2nd gap over Zachary DeLello in 2nd. Last lap, they ran pretty similar lap times. As now the battle for 7th. Teammates, Thompson on the outside, Jeff Bright the 9 on the inside. Here comes chaser Caden Lynn, also moving up behind those teammates. And Lynn really only has to worry about the race leader right now. Galway's the only chaser in front of him, and he currently leads this race. So Galway doing what he needs to do right now with this race, trying to stay out front, but he gets a little wide through 1-2, has to lift. That's going to be a lot of time lost right there. DeLello and Scott Gregory close in down the backstretch. That was not what Galway wanted to see at all. The other interesting thing to think about here is once we get the pit stops, there are going to be some people that try and short pit to then get tires sooner and just kind of undercut those drivers when obviously the tires will be worse later in the run. Then there are some drivers, even though this normally never works out, there are some drivers that will stretch this first run out as long as they can. Now, what are the upsides to doing that? Because obviously the undercut works a lot better, or not even just the undercut, but just pitting at halfway works better normally than the overcut. What is the advantage of an overcut? Well, ask Jake Richardson a few seasons ago what it meant to him. He was one of the last drivers to pit, and just a lap or two after he had pitted, the yellow flag came out. So then he had the freshest tires, was able to then be right on the bumper of drivers with worse tires in front of him. He ended up winning that race because he did the overcut. So the question is, will that work this time? Will someone get lucky enough like Jake Richardson did in that race? Or will it be like normal where the undercut or just pitting normally works out? But for Galway, he's not worrying about pit stretch right now. He's worrying about the win of Scott Gregory and his rearview mirror getting larger. Scott Gregory got by DeLello, who is now faded back into a battle for 5th and now back to 6th. And Gregory's now run the 11 down by a good bit. Scott Gregory a little bit faster than Jake Galway at this moment in time. Also bringing Logan Williams with him. Zachary DeLello, not really a good race car. He just got passed for 5th by TJ Hanley. Look who is lurking just outside the top 10. Jay Brando is not going to get this championship up without a fight. Started back, I believe, in his 34th position on the outside. That's a very terrible spot to be starting here at Rockingham, but he has made it work up to 11th for Jay Brando. Can't say enough. This man has been gritty so far this chase. He's shown it again with another gritty performance at Rockingham so far. Currently, chaser Jake Gowey looking for whatever points he can get leading this race, but he might be holding Scott Gregory in the one car up. Gregory start just outside the top 10 in this race. Now looking for the lead on lap number 19. Gowey's led all but just a few laps, but Scott Gregory trying to change that. He'll look to the inside off turn number 2, trying to get whatever grip he can with those tires, which are wearing out already by a second. He is low on Gowey to turns 3 and 4. Scott Gregory, the one car, he's out front of Rockingham. Another lead change, and now Logan Williams brought through to second. What can Gowey try and hang on to right here? He still wants to be obviously the highest chaser, but where does he fall in line? Can he get behind the 47? Does Eli Bright fill the hole to the inside? Eli is looking right here. Gowey gets a great run on corner exit. Great job by Jake Gowey to get in line. Eli Bright will maintain in 4th. TJ Henley now 5th. DeLello 6th. Jeff Bright is 7th, under fire from Conrad Evans. He'll move to 7th. Nonigan Scott just in front of Jay Rando, who got by Caden Lynn. So now Caden Lynn back to 11th. Rando up inside the top 10 in the 53 after starting outside the top 30. You can't say enough about Jay Rando. Now to 9th, just got by Jeff Bright. He's right now the 3rd highest chaser, only behind Nonigan Scott and Jake Galloway. For Jay Rando looking for another day to increase that points lead. He's been phenomenal through the first 5 races. Looking to make another one through this 6th race. Evans kind of holding those 2 chasers up, and Scott looking to try and not get passed by Randall, but the 53 looking inside on corner exit. Randall looking on Nonigan Scott. Trying to get there. Scott will drive it in a little bit deeper, climb the banking. Conrad Evans to 6th by TJ Hanley, so the 8 car a little bit better in the longer run. Scott will move inside the 21 as well. Jay Randall also filters through. He'll go to 8th with that move. Gowey fell in line in 3rd, and he thinks he's faster than Logan Williams, who has faded off of Scott Gregory a little bit. Gowey coming back for 2nd on Logan Williams. And pit stops will be looming within the next 7 to 8 laps, and some drivers might try and stretch about 10 or 12 more laps. So this will be very interesting to see which drivers do what and what's going to pay off in the long run. Get another update. Luke Brittany comes in 2nd in points. Luke has made slight progress to the field, currently up just outside the top 30, but not where he needs to be with Jay Randall currently inside the top 10. Luke right now getting what would be, it looks like 3 points, 4 points, as Ruiz is right now the last of the chasers. Another bad performance for him at this moment. Max Aronson looking to go for his 2nd Gatorade Cup Series championship, and John DeBeeford, after getting it back, another good result last week, and can't keep the momentum of being very inconsistent in this chase, and then showing again with another poor result. Luke has 1 point of Colucci just in front of him, and then also Anthony Hernandez and Anthony Charbois. So even though Luke's not running well, there's many chasers running just around him. If he could get by all these chasers that I mentioned, he'd be getting about 6 points, which, while that's obviously not ideal, he'd only lose about 4 to Rando at this moment in time if he were to get those spots. So it's very possible that he could still lead within a race of Rando. Gowey actually lost 3rd place to Eli Bright in the 88, so Eli up to 3rd. Scott Gregory, the 1, still leads this race. Logan Williams, the 47, trying to chase him down in 2nd. Gregory running lower right here, and yeah, I think that 1 car now, he may have just driven the tires off. He's lacking rear grip. You can see it. Logan Williams ran a 25 flat, exactly 25 seconds. Scott Gregory is struggling for grip in that 1 car. You can see it. He's running defensive lines down the straightaway, making sure Williams can't try and dart to the inside. Meanwhile, Randall moves right now against Scott. Now Randall, the 2nd highest chaser in this race. Logan Williams, I mean, he's faster than the 1 car, but Gregory doing a great job. But here's a man who's fast. Conrad Evans on this long run is flying in this 8 car, moving for 4th on Jake Galloway. He's bringing Jay Randall, the 53, with him. Randall might be the highest chaser at the end of all this. That is insane for Jay Randall. That 53 has been on something since the start of the chase. We had 1 car in pit road. It's Brett Sierra. He's going to be the first car on pit road. I don't know if that was scheduled or not. It's a little bit before halfway, so I don't think he'll be able to make it on fuel. But now Eli Bright for 2nd on Logan Williams. The 47 kind of held up by the 1. And how about Randall up to 5th, following Conrad Evans through it all. Randall's still running in the 24-second bracket. Most be around him in the 25s. Galloway right now just trying to hang on to whatever he can, and 11 obviously lacking grip. He wore the tires off that machine early, it looks like. Conrad Evans running lower. Thought he was pitting there, but no. Still 3 cars under a blanket. Scott Gregory, Logan Williams, Eli Bright. 1, 2, 3, all within the same half second or so. Scott Gregory up the racetrack through 1 and 2, into the wall for the lead. Scott Gregory knocks the wall down of turn 2, and Logan Williams to the inside of the 47. Williams takes the lead in Rockingham. A mistake out of the race leader, Scott Gregory. He'll drop back to third. Eli Bright to second. More cars on pit road. Derek Kimmel to 32. We have cars starting to hit pit road at the midpoint. DeLello, Spurlington, and others lead the train on the pit road, so pit window is open. Luke Rennie will short pit. That's a good undercut. You like to see that. Williams leads to turn 3. Pit stops have started. Who's the next to pit? Williams looks like he wants to pit this time. He'll get down front of the 88. Does anyone dare stay out another lap to try and overcut this? Williams enters pit road. Does anyone stay out? So far, everyone's come down pit road. Jay Jefferson will overcut it. Hoping for a yellow or something along the lines of that. Jefferson. He'll get out in front of the 19. He's one of only a few to be doing this strategy. Marshall Burrow, the 14, looks like he's also on this strategy. Burrow and Jefferson have not yet pitted. They'll do so in a lap or so. And I think it's just those two. Hanley pitted sooner. Jefferson looks like he'll pit this time. So he'll pit with 28 to go. Jefferson into pit road. Cars will be coming off pit road around him. So Jefferson in, Burrow in. So now everyone has pitted. And this will be the cycle. Hanley DeLello, one of the first of the leaders to come in. Then some others as well, like Brett Sear. He was around the midpoint. Sear's just kind of hoping that this thing has a yellow at some point to where maybe drivers will be forced to come down pit road and he'll have cycled out ahead of some drivers. Look at the damage to the one of Scott Gregory. He rear-ended someone somewhere. That is a lot of front-end damage. And he's going to have to come back down pit road. So Scott Gregory, issues on the one car from the lead, hit the wall, and now more issues on that one car. That is disaster. That is disaster. Waiting for it to cycle through. TJ Lee did a really big undercut. It looks like he'll cycle out as the leader. Shaw and Hernandez both a lap down. Williams should be second on fresher tires than the 21. Then Eli Bright in third. DeLello also undercut. He'll be fourth. Jay Randall will be fifth in the 53. Right now the highest of the chasers. Yeah, so Hanley leads by a wide margin in that 21. Burrow falls a lap down in the 14. TJ, once again, on worse tires, but also has lap cars in between he and second place, which is a three-way battle. Logan Williams, Eli Bright, and Zachary DeLello. Eli moves through, and remember that 52 really, really good on the short run. So watch for that 52 to maybe pass these turns. Even Eli Bright was better on the shorter run, then faded in the mid-run, but then got it back a little bit in the long run. DeLello's better towards the short and middle part of the run. And I think he's shown that right now at the 52, moving low, and Eli Bright for second. Williams right now in fourth. Jay Red on a world of his own in fifth. Then Conrad Evans in sixth. Diapez a lap down. Brett Sierra to seventh in the 24. So Sierra with that undercut. I don't know if he'll be able to make it on field when he did that undercut. However, if we run about 10-15 laps, the yellow comes out. Maybe everyone will come down pit road and he get track position. Derek Kimmel also really did a big undercut. He's up to the top 10. Nottingham Scott a lap down. So Luke Rennie, if he's on lap down, he'll get a good amount of points, but the problem is Jay Randall's getting 12 at the moment. Randall's just really, really fast. But there you can see Hanley, the gap he has over second place, which is those three cars on the inside back there. The gap he has, you can see all the cars a lap down. There's a lot of them. The gap he has 2.5 seconds. So can DeLello and the others, do they have fresher tires that are good enough to run down 2.5 seconds? I don't know. We'll just have to see at the end of all this. Actually, that being a track, they're going to be losing some time as well, so the gap might be more like 3 seconds at the end of this. But let's see the chasers that are lap down. Jonathan Beeford, Code Luigi, Antonin Charbois, Anthony Hernandez. Right now, 4 chasers, 1 lap down. You have Max Anderson, the 5th of the chasers. And then you have Ruiz, the 6th of them. So Luke Rennie with his short pit did gain some positions right here. Luke now up inside the top 20. While it's not what he wants out of the day, it's still right now damage control for the two Luke Rennie. He might lose about 5 or 6 points, but it could have been a lot worse at the start of this day. Obviously, it's not over. He can still fall back because he's obviously there's cars all around him. He has some of the worst tires of these drivers back here, but it was a strategy call that definitely, I think, will pay out in the long run. He was back around 30th. He should finish inside the top 30. He might even finish inside the top 20 if the tires start to equalize. So you never know for Luke Rennie. That could have been a strategy call. There could be 3 went from him. My goodness, John Weaver won the lap cars, trying to get by Nathan Baird in the 77, which was really slow up on the outside in that 77 car. But for Luke, look at this. The chasers around him, the next one behind him, is Ruiz, who's about half a straightaway back, so he has room to just kind of just try and stay on the inside as best you can. And if you get put on the outside, try and fill into any hole you can. The next chaser from a good ways up, about half a straightaway up, Galloway and Sampson. So for Luke right now, damage control, and hope Randall has some issues. Looking down against Scott, that's the car that Scott Gregory rear-ended. So Scott Gregory must have gotten into non-against Scott either entering or leaving pit road and had all that damage on the one car. The 66 has rear damage. It's not affecting the 66, but it's just some damage there. There's Caden Lynn right now in 7th. Conrad Evans up to 5th. Jay Randall up to 3rd in the 53. Eli Bright's clear in 2nd and trying to march down Hanley, who on the worst areas get passed by lap cars, Anson Charles and Anthony Hernandez. 18 to go, but it's far from over. The gap down to under 2 seconds. It was up to 3 seconds a few laps ago, but Hanley in lap traffic and with worse tires, losing ground. And can Jay Randall somehow find a way to win this race from his starting position? It would be insane if he could get that done. Randall's not been the highest finishing chaser in the race so far this season, but that can change. But also don't count out Conrad Evans. The 8 and the 53 were both flying on the long run last run. With 17 to go, they still have time to run the front two down. Don't count out Randall nor Evans. How about Caden Lynn? He's trying to hang around right here in 7th in case Jay Randall makes a mistake. He's trying to do whatever he can. So right now, I believe Luke is the 5th of the chasers, if I'm not mistaken. 5th or 4th or 6th. So you have Randall as the highest. You have Caden Lynn. You have Nottingham Scott. He'll be the 6th of the chasers. That's 7 points. Randall at the moment getting 12. That would be a difference of 5. The gap would then be 9 between the 2 and the 53. But the battle for the lead is more entertaining at this moment. With now 15 to go, Hanley has let both lap cars by. The gap is now under a 1.5 seconds. Make it a 2nd and 3/10 for Eli Bright up to the 21. Evans got to 3rd by Jay Brando, who's now on the outside. Caden Lynn loves seeing that. He wants Logan Williams to go. His teammates trying to get him by Jay Brando. That's a point in favor of Caden Lynn, who comes in 3rd in points, 12 back. He wants to be 11 back. There he is by the 53. Now Rando has his teammate to level up on him. Really slow on the outside for Rando. I don't know if he wore the tires on, or he's trying to save his stuff, or just trying to get down in line, but his teammates are helping him out. That's for sure. Rando run wide by his teammate. That allows Evans to get away in 3rd. So now, Hanley leads with 13 to go, but on worse tires than Eli Brett and Conrad Evans behind. The gap down to under a 2nd between the 21 and the 88. Watch the gap to the 8 car of Conrad Evans as well. He's closing in. He closed in a 10th last lap. Eli a little bit less than a 10th. And look at how hard Eli's driving that car. Almost got into the wall off turn number 2. He's driving it for all it's worth, I can tell you that. Time's running out. He knows it. 12 to go. Catching is one thing, passing is another. 12 to go in Rockingham. The gap now down. Another 10th. Eating out the lead. 2/10 for Conrad Evans. We could see 3 cars merge together at the end of this race. If Hanley holds Eli Bright up enough, Conrad Evans comes in saying the 8 car. And how's Jay Brando doing in the 53? Brando right now back in 7th, but in a hole to where no one's really around him. Scott too far back. Where's Luke Rennie in the 2 at? Right now, he's nowhere to be seen. He's back down to 34th, so obviously issues have arisen on the 2 car. He's now back with Max Anderson. He lost a point to Bibi Ruiz, but I believe that's the only point he lost. So even while Randall lost a point, Luke still lost one, so it still evens out to 5. But the battle for the lead is on. Hanley and Eli Bright, Evans lurking in 3rd with a faster race car. The gap now 1/4 second, back to Conrad Evans, a 2nd and 3/4. Eli Bright is there on Hanley. But if he can't find a way around him, Evans will be there as well in the 8 car. 9 to go at the line. This tire strategy playing out here at Rockingham. It's the thing we love about this racetrack. It's worn out. The tire strategy comes into play. Eli Bright on fresher tires inside of TJ Hanley and by Eli Bright to the race lead with 9 to go. I think that was his teammate. Yeah, Sierra on pit road could not make it. So now Eli Bright will lead in Rockingham. Does Conrad Evans have enough time and car to gain? It's down to about a 2nd. I think also you have to think about, though, Evans was gaining that time on TJ. He was not gaining on Eli. And TJ obviously short pitted so much he couldn't make it. He has to come down pit road. He surrenders 2nd, and the strategy does not work for TJ nor Brett. There's Brett leaving. There's his teammate Eli Bright leading with 8 to go, looking for a win. Conrad Evans in 2nd, looking for his first ever win across any of the series. Brando almost got the wall in the 53. Eli hoping he can hold on with those tires. Evans hoping he can try and gain. Brando, there he is. He'll get passed by the car with fresher tires. That's Brett Sierra. Only chaser behind him is right now Nottingham Scott, and he's a good ways back in the 66. Where is Luke Rainey in the 2 at late in this race? Back in 34th. Is he still ahead of Max Anderson? I don't think so. I think Max Anderson passed him. He did. So now Luke lost another point on top of the one he lost to Ruiz. So the 2-car strategy, I thought would work out, but it's not working out so well at this moment. Coming back around, go back up to that lead because Eli Bright still has it with 6 to go. Evans, though, he took out about 0.3 of a second. You can see Eli now, he's not pushing it as hard. He knows he has to lead, but also don't count out chaser Caden Lynn in 3rd. If the front two start to tangle and get close together, he can try and get it. It was 1 3/10. Now with 5 to go, a yellow flag would end it. What's the gap? It's under a second. It's going to be close. He gained almost 4 cents that lap. Look at Sierra on those fresher tires. He can try and help his teammate out if he really wanted to because he's on fresher tires. Evans is going to have to let him go here. Does Sierra maybe make Evans lose more time than it makes Eli lose? Evans lets that 24 go. Now Sierra's going to catch Eli Bright. Where does he catch him is the question. If he catches him in 1 and 2, that could also play an impact. Sierra rides behind him for now. I think he wants to pass him on the straightaway. Make sure he can have the bottom through 3 and 4. Coming around to 3 laps to go for Eli Bright. Eli lets Sierra go, but is running the outside 3 and 4. Evans able to run the middle. It's going to be down to the wire at Rockingham. 3 laps to go in the Oreo 400. Eli Bright leads, but on a car with worse tires and not as good handling. It is down under half a second between the front 2, within a second for the front 3. Evans pushing it for all it's worth. 2 to go at the line. And Caden Lynn back there in 3rd looking for every point he can get for that championship. 2 laps to go for Eli Bright. Bright versus Evans and maybe even Lynn. The gap once again down, stabilized a little bit. 3 cars within a second at the end of this race. Eli Bright coming around to see the white flag, but it's not over for him. He still has to do 1 more mile with a car that's faster behind him. I think Evans pushing him really hard. He might be making some mistakes right here. He's lost some ground to the 88. White flag, but no surrender. 3 cars with a shot to win. Eli Bright, Conrad Evans, Caden Lynn, who leaves as the victor at Rockingham. Bright off too well. Evans looking for any mistake out of the 88. Eli trying to get through 3 and 4 perfectly right here. Evans drives it in deep along with Caden Lynn. It won't be enough. Eli Bright off turn 4 for the final time. He'll lead a Chevy 1-2-3 at Rockingham. What a run for Eli Bright, and what a run for the front 3 at the end. They were oh so close, all 3 within 0.4 of a second at the end. And how about Riley Sampson and Nottingham Scott? They passed the 53 at the end. Scott gets a top 5, Sampson out of nowhere gets 6th. Rando faded back to 7th after all that, so Rando, 3rd highest chaser, excuse me, 4th highest chaser in this race, but it was 2 non-chasers leading this race at the end. Eli Bright and Conrad Evans as the front 3 within 0.4 of a second at the end. Let's go see the finish results and the point standings after a crazy one from Rockingham. Here's how they finished in the Oreo 400 at the Rockingham Speedway. No caution flags today in this race, but 6 lead changes, 7 different drivers seeing the lead here in Rockingham. And out front with the right strategy, Eli Bright barely hangs on to win this race, leading 10 laps over Conrad Evans, who with a hard charge gets a 2nd at the end and was just a car length or so for winning this race. Caden Lynn also made a really impressive charge at the end. Lynn ends up in 3rd. Really good points day for him, who's up into a tie for 2nd in points, 9 behind the points leader. Zachary DeLello right where he started in 4th. And Nottingham Scott, good result for him from 29th to the top 5, the 2nd highest chaser in this race. Riley Sampson gets 6th place in the 38. Jay Rando, this is a drive that he's going to remember if he wins the championship. Started 34th, the back of the field on the outside at Rockingham. That is a recipe for a bad points day. Randall turns it into a 4th best chaser day, 7th place for him. So if he wins the championship, this is a day Randall can look back to and say, this was what won me the championship. Max Rossi, also a really good day. Even though he's not a chaser, we cannot discount the drive Rossi had. Started 38th and finished 8th. That's a really, really good drive for Rossi. Jeff Bright ends up in 9th, and Jake Gowen, the 11, completes the top 10. Led 16 laps early on, but that car definitely faded towards the end of the race, but still a top 10. Decent points day, keeps him within touch still with 4 races to go. Logan Williams led 2 laps, ends up in 11th. They have some drivers like Jay Jefferson, who overcut, gets up to 15th with that strategy. And for Luke Rainey, even though it wasn't a good day, it was a really, really bad day for Luke Rainey. The one positive he can take away is that inside the top 20, the only 5 chasers that finished there were the 5 that finished inside the top 10. So 5 chasers were really, really good today. Then the rest of them were really, really bad, as we'll show you right here. The next highest, so Jake Galloway, the 5th highest chaser, was 10th. The 6th highest chaser in this race was Bibby Ruiz in 27th. So that means from 11th to 26th, there were no chasers. And then from Ruiz on down to last place, there were 7 chasers. It was not a good day for these chasers. Ruiz 27th, Max Anderson 31st, Luke Rainey 33rd, Anson and Charlebois 34th, and Anthony Hernandez 35th, Cole Luigi 36th, Jonathan Beeford 39th. Luigi and Beeford both a lap down, but those are all those chasers right there. A lot of them did not have good days. And for Luke Rainey, I thought you played the strategy right. Short pinning right there, getting the track position. Either that car just did not feel well at all at any point during the race, or those tires really, really wore off, because Luke almost faded back to Anson and Charlebois and Anthony Hernandez, who remember had to unlap themselves from TJ Hanley. So Luke's car really, really faded in the long run, it looks like here today. He did lose ground to Jay Rando, however, damage control, he still got 5 points. He only lost 4 to Rando, so now the gap is 9 points. It was 5 entering the day. Obviously, TJ Hanley leading the most laps with 18 today, but he played a strategy to then short pit really, really soon, but didn't have enough fuel to make it. He had to come down pit road and finishes in 40th. The same could be said for Brett Sear, and obviously Scott Gregory led 11 laps, but had damage in this race in the 1 car after a pit road incident with Nonigan Scott. At the right side are the points after Rockingham. 4 races remain in this Gatorade Cup Series season, and Rando has a comfortable gap. Definitely has a gap for a mulligan if he needs one. He has 9 points over a tie for a second between Luke Rainey and Caden Lynn. They are once again 9 points back. Don't discount Jake Galloway sitting there in 4th. He has to make up 16 points, but it's possible Max Anderson has to make up 18. And you look below Max Anderson, you see Anson and Charlebois, but he is 21 below. Coluigi and Bibby Ruiz, they're both a really good ways below as well, 22. You look at Nonigan Scott, Riley Sampson, both 23 below. Anthony Hernandez really, really far down. He needs to somehow make up 27 points. For Jonathan Beeford, 29 points below. That's nearly impossible to make up in 4 races. So Buford's inconsistency in this chase has really, really shown, and was really, really good at the end of the regular season. But did that 18 team peak too soon is the question. Did the 53 team play it right? So far through 6 chase races, Jay Brando's lowest chase finish, 5th of the chasers. That is why he's on top by 9 points. But still 4 races left, and anything can happen. These are some 4 crazy racetracks. We'll go racing another track where strategy can play a difference. We'll go racing at Phoenix for the Subway 500. I'll see you guys then.